Hey there, welcome back to Creepy Encounters. In today's video, I saw a creepy regular customer taking photos of my apartment window. You have my flashlight. Possible serial killer encounter? Creepy guys follow me every week. I work at a little local business, and we are known for being really friendly and chatty with customers. It's kind of expected of us. Ever since I started working there at 17, there was this guy who had to be in his late 20s, mid 30s who would come in and talk to me in particular for long amounts of time. He would wear weird shirts that said things like bearded for her pleasure, but I mean, to each their own fashion sense I guess, but lol. He added me on FB at some point, and as a dumb teenager I accepted and would reply to his messages, but not too often. I had the feeling he has a crush on me and didn't want to lead him on. He started coming and asking weirder things like go out drinking this weekend. Go to any clubs with your friends? I didn't want to delete him off Facebook because I knew I'd have to face him again at work. My coworker and boss noticed he would linger sometimes for over an hour just talking to me. If I was in the back, he would just stand around waiting for me to come up. About a year ago he got me when I was alone at the front and the store wasn't busy, so he decided to vent to me about how he recently got kicked out of a comic convention for trying to talk to a girl who had accused him of stalking her. He was convinced he did nothing wrong and was just trying to talk to her. But why would he get escorted out of a venue by security if it was a misunderstanding? I kind of forgot about this, and he had come in a couple more times since. I remember him casually asking me if I still live on the corner of the plaza and stuff. And I said yeah, not thinking much of it. Maybe 2 days later I had the day off. I had a shower, then changed in my room, then did my makeup right at my window, all with the blinds open. I'm 2 stories up and I assumed nobody would ever actually be looking up directly at it. I learned my lesson okay. I went downstairs and was shocked to see him taking photos of my freaking apartment building window. Like his phone angled up towards my window. I think he saw me walking out, but I had sunglasses on and walked away quickly. I deleted him off Facebook and he noticed and messaged me within about 2 days after this happened. It's too coincidental not to be creepy, no? My coworkers were so weirded out when I told them. I didn't see him for a couple months, then he came in one day when I was working and was so brief with me, if anything he seemed almost angry at me. There was enough tension coming from him that when he left, my new coworker who knew nothing about this was like, whoa, what was that about? He was acting as if you just broke up with him. Could have been worse though. Chances are he probably didn't get good photos from his phone camera with all the sunlight glares and such. Here's to hoping he hasn't ever creeped out my window before without me noticing. A bit of background info. This happened to me when I was around 4 to 5, and for the longest time, I wasn't even sure this happened. Until I asked my parents about it a few years ago, and to my horror, it did. I apologize for any details seeming off, but again, this happened a long time ago, and I lived in doubt of it ever happening for almost a decade. Now, onto the story. My mom, dad, brother and I were all hanging out in the family room, watching TV, playing games, just having a good time. It was around dusk at this point, so being as young as I was, it was time for me to start getting ready for bed. My brother was just a toddler, so my mom began to carry him upstairs, me walking at her side. This is when it starts getting creepy. There's a knock on the sliding glass door, clear as day. The light warm mood that had flitted through the air for the majority of the night immediately evaporated. My mom, brother, and I are stopped on the stairs. We backtrack to the first step but don't peek our heads around the corner so as not to make our presence known to whoever is on the other side of the glass. I can hear my dad's footsteps as he makes his way to the sliding door. He doesn't open it, thank God, but speaks through the glass to the man on the other side. I sat down on the first step and sort of shifted myself down to the floor. We had some boxes of stuff stacked at the stairs entrance, so I'm hidden by those when I look up and see who on earth is at a sliding glass door at 8 p.m. at night. It appears to be an Asian man, probably around 35 to 40, about my dad's age. The man wears great clothes and looks kind of scruffy. I really don't remember a lot about his demeanor or outward appearance, but he definitely wasn't one of our neighbors. To put it one way, his entire aura felt off. I put my head back down behind the stuff and just sit against the box, listening, not necessarily scared but certainly wary of the situation. The conversation, to my memory, proceeded as follows. "What are you doing here?" my dad asks. The man doesn't respond immediately but then says, "You have my flashlight." Confused, my dad asks again, "What are you doing here?" This time in response the man simply points to a flashlight laying on a table at the back of the couch. The weird thing about this was that the man already had a flashlight in his hand, turned off, but certainly a flashlight. My dad clearly doesn't want to give whoever this is the time of day. I could hear it in his voice despite his back being turned to the stairs. My mom has already taken my brother upstairs, and to what I now know, call the police. We live in a suburban area and only around a 3-minute drive from the police station. So they got to our house quite quickly. My dad was trying to keep the man in conversation, no doubt to keep him there until the police arrived. But it didn't work. The man started walking from the glass door and then out the side gate of our yard. Finally he began sprinting through the neighbor's yard and down a trail that wraps around the backs of all our houses. I found this bit of info out from my dad when I inquired a few years ago. That's pretty much the end of it. The police never found the guy and we never got any more visitors at the back of our house. It's been well over a decade, but I still think about the situation sometimes. What's most creepy is how the man got into our backyard. He had to have come from the forest ravine that holds the trail he ran back down. Again, the forest ravine. It's a steep incline and no easy feat to get up or down. There's a gate on one side of our backyard, and a carport filled with junk on the other, and there's no way in hell we could have missed hearing the man coming from either side. So he had to climb up the hole-filled mess of fallen trees, ivy, and underbrush just to get to our house. My family swears that they'd never seen the man before, so it just seems creepier the more I think about it. Why go to so much trouble to get to our house? Why ask about a flashlight when you clearly have one? Was the man trying to get into our house? If so, what would his intentions have been? There are so many unanswered questions, but it's by far the creepiest encounter I've ever had, and it leaves me cautious to this day. Once about 10 years ago, my friend and I were walking down the road near our house. We lived in a small town and there were no sidewalks, and the road was pretty quiet with not too many cars. Suddenly a man in a small car pulls up in front of us. He looks like just an average white dad in his late 40s, early 50s, and his car was pretty unremarkable. The only thing I remember about his car was that it had out-of-state plates that were yellowish or orangish like a sunset. Anyway, he didn't appear to be on drugs or to be having any mental health issues. So he pulls up in front of us, sticks his head out the window and says to us, "I'm going to frick you up, and no one can stop me," and the look in his eyes was so evil. Then as soon as he said that, another car came from the opposite direction, and he must have gotten spooked because he drove off. My friend and I waited till he was out of sight and ran home and locked all the doors. We were young and stupid and didn't call the police. Every time I see something on the news about a murderer being caught, I look to see if I recognize them, but it's been so long I don't even know if I would anymore. I always wonder what could have happened, and what he even meant by that. One of the strangest things to ever happen to me by far. For the past month or so, every week a creepy guy has tried to corner me or feel me up. Frown. I've been experiencing this since I was 9, and not toot my own horn, but I am above average in terms of attractiveness. It usually happens when I'm in the train. They would keep staring at me, and when I stare at them back they continue, and they always corner me or try to be near to me. It makes me feel so uncomfortable, but I don't know what to do. When I move away they follow me, so usually I will try and go in a crowd of people so they don't try anything. For your information, I just turned 15, and all the men who do that are at least in their late 20s. Also, my country is notorious for not taking action when someone is being sexually assaulted, taking underskirt pics, groping girls, even for underage girls. I just want them to stop. It ruins my mood and makes me feel unsafe, and when it happens everyone around me acts like nothing is happening because that's the type of people in my country. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more real-life creepy encounters around the world. See you in the next video. Bye.